comes to mind when you think of Pakistan? A terror state, a rogue state, a state which is full of lies and treachery and with a huge begging bowl. Because Pakistan has exposed itself on a global stage. Not once, not twice, multiple times that we are talking about. And this time, this is a streak of humiliation that continues because the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif made a fool of himself and the state that he represents. This is happening on the stage of the UNGA, which is the United Nations General Assembly. India, meanwhile, has delivered an accurate and a tight slap when it comes to terrorism. Exercising its right to reply, India shredded the lies of the Pakistani Prime Minister, unmasking Islamabad's shameless glorification when it comes to terror. In just 4 minutes, precise 4 minutes, India reminded the world of Pakistan and the reality, its own track record, right from sheltering Osama bin Laden to even blocking accountability for groups behind the killing of innocents in Jammu and Kashmir. So let's build up exactly what the Pakistani Prime Minister's lies that have been speaking and how India exposed them one by one. Well, Pakistan once again launching a tirade against India at the UN with their Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif attacking Hindutva as a threat to global peace. But India hit back hard, exposing how Pakistan is the one which actually glorifies terrorism and continues to spread lies. India has made it clear that it is Pakistan which is squarely responsible for the attacks on innocent civilians, and India has now brought the perpetrators of the Pahalgam terror attack to justice.
Hate-driven ideologies such as India's Hindutva-driven extremism pose a danger to the entire world.
This assembly witnessed absurd theatrics in the morning from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who once again glorified terrorism that is so central to their foreign policy. However, no degree of drama and no level of lies can conceal the facts. This is the very same Pakistan which, at the UN Security Council on 25th April 2025, shielded the Resistance Front, a Pakistani-sponsored terror outfit, from the responsibility of carrying out the barbaric massacre of tourists in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. President, a country long steeped in the tradition of deploying and exporting terrorism has no shame in advancing the most ludicrous narratives to that end. Let us recall that it sheltered Osama bin Laden for a decade, even while pretending to partner in the war against terrorism. Its ministers have just recently acknowledged that they have been operating terrorist camps for decades. It should come as no surprise that once again this duplicity continues, this time at the level of its Prime Minister.
So exposing the lies of Pakistan and its Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif seems to be boasting at the UN that it was his country that is defeating cross-border terrorism. Is this a joke? But India has hit back fiercely, exposing Islamabad's lies and theatrics, making it clear that no drama or falsehoods, all theatrics will actually hide Pakistan's terror track record. Right from glorifying terrorism to even shielding a Pakistani-sponsored terror outfit responsible for Pahalgam massacre in Jammu and Kashmir, where the perpetrators have now been brought to justice by India.
When are you going to stop cross-border terrorism, Pakistan Prime Minister?
Cross-border terrorism. We are defeating this.
The truth is that, as in the past, Pakistan is responsible for a terrorist attack on innocent civilians in India. We have exercised the right to defend our people against such actions and have brought the organizers and perpetrators to justice. The Pakistani Prime Minister has spoken about wanting peace with India. If he is indeed sincere, the pathway is clear. Pakistan must immediately shut down all terrorist camps and hand over to us terrorists wanted in India. It is also ironic that a country which wallows in hate, bigotry, and intolerance should preach to this assembly on matters of faith. The political and public discourse of Pakistan reflects its true nature. Clearly, a look by them at the mirror is long overdue. Mr. President, India and Pakistan have long agreed that any outstanding issue between them will be addressed bilaterally. There is no room for any third party in that regard. This is our long-standing national position. Where terrorism is concerned, we are making it clear that there will be no distinction between the terrorists and their sponsors. Both will be held accountable. nor will we allow terrorism to be practiced under the cover of a nuclear blackmail. India will never bow to such threats. India's message to the world is clear. There must be zero tolerance for terrorism.
Now, as far as that bragging and boasting is concerned, it was absolutely unnecessary because it is far from truth, far from the facts. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif seems to be bragging that his fighter jets actually turned 7 of the Indian fighter jets into scrap and dust, praising Pakistani pilots as falcons. But India exposed the lies once again, reminding the world of the pictures from Operation Sindoor that shows terrorists being eliminated. In fact, terrorists were being glorified when the funeral processions were carried out.
Resulting in 7 of the Indian jets turned to scrap and dust, a decisive response.
Picture speaks 1,000 words, and we saw many pictures of terrorists slain in Bahawalpur and Muridke terror complexes by Indian forces during Operation Sindoor. When senior Pakistani military and civilian officials publicly glorify and pay homage to such notorious terrorists, can there be any doubt about the proclivities of this regime? The Prime Minister of Pakistan also advanced a bizarre account of the recent conflict with India. The record on this matter is clear. Till 9th May, Pakistan was threatening more attacks on India. But on 10th May, its military pleaded with us directly for a cessation to the fighting. The intervening event was the destruction caused to multiple Pakistani air bases by Indian forces. The pictures of that damage are, of course, publicly accessible. If destroyed runways and burnt-out hangars look like victory, as the Prime Minister claimed, Pakistan is welcome to enjoy it.
So you saw this is nothing but absolute shamelessness on part of a terror state by Pakistan. Point-by-point rebuttal that has been given in its right to respond by the Indian side. What did the Pakistani Prime Minister say? That India's Hindutva Baba threatens global peace. What is the truth? It is Pakistan being the country, the terror state that actually glorifies terrorism and spreads lies. What did the Pakistani Prime Minister say? He says that there is no place for hate in the society. Look at what he is propagating. How has India responded, saying that this is absolutely absurd when it comes to the criticism that is coming in for the Pakistani Prime Minister, saying that this is nothing but theatrics on his part. What did the Pakistani Prime Minister then say? That we are defeating cross-border terrorism. Again, the victim card that has been played from the perpetrators of terrorism. However, there is no drama or lies that can conceal the facts, and the world will not be fooled by Pakistan's lies. India breaching international law. Why? Because they believe that everything, especially when it comes to the right of water, is something that they are claiming that it belongs to them. No, it does not, because the treaty is in abeyance, and any misadventure on part of Pakistan will be dealt strongly. This is a new India, and that has been made absolutely clear. It is Pakistan's advances that are now being mentioned as ludicrous. What did the Pakistani Prime Minister say? That suspending of Indus Treaty is actually illegal to him. Remember the threats that was given by him and other leaders from his country? Well, that is not going to work on India. Neither is nuclear blackmail. Saying that turned 7 jets to scrap and dust. Where is the evidence? Your own defense minister seems to be relying heavily on social media. Here is, as far as India is concerned, we have the evidence when it comes to those notorious and dreaded terrorists. When they were killed by the Indian forces, you were having a state-level funeral that was accorded to same terrorists, and these pictures is something that the entire world has seen.